Hey, you guys. I see the sun is shining quite brightly, but let's see how that is going to impact our lighting today. But welcome to this video. And in this video, I'll be sharing this one thing that has the power to change your entire life. And I bet you are eager to know what that is. But first, if you're new here, let me just quickly introduce myself. So my name is Nina, and I love helping others ease their struggles, find more peace and more meaning in their struggles so that they can live a life of peace and abundance and joy and purpose. So essentially, I love helping people heal, especially emotionally, and connect with their emotions and just live a life that they genuinely love living. But now let's get into the topic of this video. So what is this one thing that I say that can change your entire life? And let me just preface this by saying that although I say that it is very simple, that does not mean by any means that is always easy. Not at all. But this power that you do possess is, of course, it is your power to choose your perspective, how you react to things. And it is the power that you have to choose through which lenses you look at life and all the events and circumstances that are happening in your life. Because we all know that life will always surprise us, and we cannot control what happens in our lives. That's a fact. But, and this is important, we can, however, make a conscious choice of the story that we tell ourselves about any given situation. And I believe that it was one of my favorite authors, Wayne Dyer, who said that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Meaning, when you change your perspective, your attitude towards something, the way you see something in your life, your experience of that very thing, of the external thing, your external reality will change as well when you change your internal reality first. But how, Nina? How do you go about doing this? That's always the question in everyone's mind. Like, okay, but how? How do I do that? But before we go into talking about the how, please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you like the content so far, it really helps me a lot. So thank you for that. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, I know it is so easy to go through life on autopilot and just react to life and in the ways that you've always reacted. So let me tell you what I do in my own life and have done for a long time, and what I advise my clients to do as well. Now, firstly, what you can do is, of course, pause for a moment and start intentionally slowing down and really becoming aware of those internal narratives that you have in any given situation. Become aware of what is the story, often a limiting story, that you're telling yourself about what happened. And secondly, start finding these alternative ways to look at whatever the situation is. In other words, start to let go of the initial story about the situation you're in currently, and then try to look at it from a more empowering point of view. Or another option is to just see life exactly the way it is without any story about it, but that might be a little bit more difficult and require a little bit more practice. But for example, let's say that instead of complaining how little money you have in your bank account, you start shifting your perspective to appreciating all the money that you do have, no matter how little it may be. And that way you start to train your mind to see all the other forms of abundance in your life as well, aside from money. So appreciating the money that you have, but appreciating everything else is as well. And this way you start to feel and be more abundant, and therefore your you're also going to attract more abundance into your life. Or maybe let's say that you go to work and your coworker doesn't greet you in the morning, and you immediately spiral into thinking like, well, did I do something to upset them? Or maybe you start to wonder if you've done something wrong and now they're mad at you, when in reality it could be that they just simply didn't see you come in. But another perspective you could take is, I wonder if everything's okay with them. Maybe I'll go and ask if they're okay. Or maybe you could just even look at the situation as it is without making it mean anything, especially about you. Like, they didn't say hi, end of story. So whatever the situation is, you cannot control the external events in your life, but you can decide your own perspective and through which lenses you're going to look at the situation. And that is incredibly powerful. So just like in these examples, it's all about your perspective and how you choose to see life and the external circumstances in your life. So it really, really all comes down to your own perspective and understanding the power that your perspective has makes you incredibly powerful. It really shifts you from this more like a victim mentality into a powerful creator of your own reality. I truly cannot emphasize this enough, how important it is to make this shift in your perspective. And just by shifting your internal narrative about any situation is in and of itself gonna start to change your reality massively. That is how powerful it truly is. And that is how powerful you are. And there is still another extremely powerful thing that you can do to amplify the results and amplify your manifestations. And that thing is more related to the action that you take. And that's what we're going to be discussing on the next video. And this, along what we talked about today, is a game changer already, even in and of itself. So now that you go about your day, start really practicing being mindful of the stories that you're telling yourself about life, about any circumstances in your life, about other people, especially about yourself. I know we have a lot of stories about ourselves. So start really being mindful of the stories that you're telling about anything that's happening in your life. And your internal stories and the perspectives really truly hold the key to changing your life from the inside and then out. And like I said, there is another aspect to this as well, and I'll share more about that on my next video. And it is at least as powerful as this one, if not more so. So make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel, and remember to also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video is released. And I'll see you soon. And thank you so much for joining me for this video, and I'm sending you so much love and many blessings. See you.